Good morning. It's Ministry Monday. I know I'm on 10 minutes early, but I do that so that if people want to, come on, they have time to come on. It is September 9th. Sometimes I forget my days still. It's September 9th. It is Monday, and I hope everyone had a great weekend. So I wanted to come on and just elaborate a little bit through the weekend. What I did on Saturday, I had a funeral. We went to Brucey Elias. He went home to be with the Lord, and it was very nice. You always, Pittman's a little town, so everybody gets to see everybody, of course. And I have some people coming on here. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Diane. Diane, I think about you quite a bit right now, and everything will be okay. So anyway, there was a funeral, and then yesterday I went to a baptism, and it was really, really nice. It was baptism for Stella Blue, and it was really, really nice. Hi, Amy, honey. How are you doing? Amy, I think I can say this, is going to be a mommy. She is due in March. I say February 23rd or like March 8th. And she had the reveal. And I told her when she first found out she was going to have a baby, I said, "You're going to have a boy." She's going to have a boy. So I'm really, really excited for her. Let me put the glasses back on, especially first thing in the morning. I'm blind as a bat. Let me see. You're welcome, dear. Hi, Angel. How are you? I'm probably going to put this hair up. It just starts getting on my nerves. Anyway, so I hope everybody had a great weekend. And, I'm going to be touching base on circumstances, kind of like trials. But no matter what, God is always there. It doesn't matter what you're going through. God is always there if you believe. Some people don't believe. So if you don't believe, my prayer is that you will learn what the truth is, because if you think you're just put here to die and you have no purpose in life, that's crazy. Oh, Angel said, congratulations, Amy. So Angel is somebody that I met at, was it Bed Bath and Beyond? I think it was Angel, right? But she is, I think, a manager over there. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Her and I were speaking for some time, and it was great. And you're welcome. You're welcome. I got to take some call. I'm so tired today. Long weekend. My daughter texted me this morning to do something for her, and I was dead asleep. Hi, Catherine. How you doing? So I'm going to be touching base on your circumstances, because I do a lot of reading when I'm on Facebook, and sometimes, I'll read comments even on other people's page, if there's a comment that I'm involved with. No, I just don't go to other people's accounts and read their accounts, because I don't have time to do that in life. I do a lot of posting on my account, and I try to answer all the comments that come in on my account, let alone someone else's. But, I read where you'll see certain posts, please keep us in prayer, or I don't understand why I'm going through this, or I'm having a really hard time right now. There's a lot of things that you'll read that people put up. And, I give a lot of credit to people who, do put things up that are personal to them, that, they're asking you to pray for them. And that's one thing I do like about Facebook, that we can all, come to each other, ask for help, ask for prayer. That's the best thing I think about Facebook. Other than that, there's a lot of things that I would block from Facebook, but you don't have to read everything, and you don't have to, get into everything that's on Facebook either. There's a lot of things put out on Facebook that I see, and that I don't think people should always air their dirty laundry, their total personal business out on Facebook. That's why there's instant messenger and there's text, because, you know, you're putting something out there that everybody is reading, and everybody's going to have a different opinion, and they're not walking in your shoes. So I always say, why even put it out there? There's posts that I'll read that you have to understand, girls saying that, you know, they want to do good in life, and, you know, they're praying to God and everything like that. But then I've read some posts where they're saying, you know, well, you know, F in this and F in that. And I'm reading the post and I'm like, oh my goodness, you know? So I really think that we should. Hi, Joan. How you doing, dear? I really think that we should be selective in what we put on our Facebook accounts, on the walls, and just, you know, think before we speak, because we should be, you know, instead of speaking our mind, we should be minding our speech. That's a saying that I always had. My brother Mark is on. What's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy? I'm sure you had a long weekend. I don't know if you're going back to the shore anymore, though, because I don't think I am, because it's getting cold in the morning. I was going to go outside today, but I just like sitting in my bedroom here. So, excuse me. Hi, Maureen. It's almost a couple more minutes. I'm just going to wait because there's quite a few people that are coming on right now. I'm going to be talking about circumstances, you know, when you're tried by the fire, and God is always there. And I want to reach out. Grace, if you happen to watch this video, I know I've said it a couple times. As soon as you get a chance, can you please call me, you or Sue? My heart. Hi, Noelle. How you doing? That little Gianna, she's just a little cutie pie. I like watching her little videos you put up. I want to say, I am looking and hoping that God is going to open doors in certain places. Hi, Janae, honey. You know, I think about you all the time. I know I'm getting off course here, but when everybody comes on, I like to say hello, good morning. And if you have anything you'd like to say, hey, AJ, how you doing, buddy? But one of my passions is talking to people and helping them with the words of God. Not my words, not my opinion, just knowing what scripture says, what God says when he says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. You know, come to me, all you who are, you know, weary, and if you're weak and heavy laden, he's always there no matter what you're going through. So that's why today I thought it's important to talk about, you know, circumstances when you're tried in your circumstances. And, you know, it's just something that I thought it was good to touch base on. So it's like 1 minute to 10 o'clock, and I'm going to start speaking on clearly God in our circumstances. And I'm praying, keep me in prayer to God, for God to open up doors for me. It's a wonderful thing. I always say, and I said it yesterday, we're not always going to agree on everything, but we can clearly agree on that kindness, kind words can go a long way with somebody. Kind words can change somebody's life. I know because I have experienced it with many, many women when I was sitting in jail and when I was at Clinton State Prison. And it's my passion, because when you have someone in your life, and we're all capable of doing this, every one of us. Hi, Rhonda, how you doing? We're all capable of doing this. We are all capable of looking at someone that's hurting and saying, you're going to be okay. It's okay. Money problems, you know, you just found out something happened to a son, a daughter, you know, a serious illness. You will get through this. Someone who has just experienced the loss of a husband, please keep the Elias, the Millards, the Glackens, the Red Rose, keep all that unity, you know, please, in prayer from the loss of Bruce. But we didn't lose him. He's in heaven. Kind words change a life. Hi, sweetie Rhonda. How you doing? I hope you have a great week, honey. Kind words change a life. They really, really do. And, you know, I just, you know, it's sad to me when something happens in a family, especially, I know all too well, divorce, it just like tears everything apart. But sometimes God is trying to put something back together. in my situation, God was trying to take me and heal me and put my entire life back together as it was before. But let me tell you, the second time around, it's even better, because when you have a true relationship with Jesus Christ, you know, and everything is just better because you're following the way of what he says and not what you want. And there's a difference. And there's always, Lord, let me do as your will. So sometimes when you're going through a tough circumstance, you might not be having a bad day. Listen, I'm going to say it again. The enemy is everywhere. That's when you're tried by the fires. The devil wants nothing more than you to be down. Oh my gosh, look what happened to me. Look at all these bills. He wants you to have, hi, Joe. Hi, Colleen. How you doing? Oh, I can't answer that. And that was my Angel Gloria, and she knows who she is, but I'm live right now, but I will talk to her later. But anyway, I don't want to lose thought here. Hi to Joe and Colleen for both coming on. I love you guys. So in your circumstances, sometimes you have to understand, if everything was perfect in our lives, where would we build any character at all? Think about that. That's why I say when things bad happen in your life, for me now, I stand up strong against it. And like my grandmother, it'll all be okay. Everything always works out. As long as I wake up tomorrow, I'm blessed. As long as I have my health, I'm blessed. Okay, all this is coming in. This just happened. This just happened. Don't let the enemy steal your joy and take you down that road of woe is me. Don't allow it. There may be other people in your life that, are experiencing certain things. And, there may be people in your life, you're like, oh, here we go again. I got to listen to this again. But we also have to take, the time to understand and realize sometimes it's not always about us. And it's great to be a great listener when people are going through hard times, whatever that may be. What I think is hard times might not be hard times to you. And what many of you go through, I don't look at it as anything hard for me because of what I've already experienced, because I know God is in control. But bye, Natalie, honey. Bye. My daughter's leaving for work, so she wanted to say goodbye to me. That's how much she loves me. Anyway, when we're going through a tough time, you'll always have to remember God is right there. And I'm going to say this, just like me. When you go through a certain time in your life and you rebel, and I was raised in a Christian family, I walked all the way over here, way away from God. If you think God's not going to allow, he doesn't cause it, but allow you just to keep going and falling and falling and falling and falling. And each time you get up, you're like, why is this happening to me? Look at your life and ask yourself, am I living for the Lord? Am I pleasing him? Am I bringing him honor, praise, and glory with my life? I know I wasn't. So if you can answer that truthfully and know that you're not, what better day to start than today? And when I tell you, when you start living for the Lord, your Savior Jesus Christ, that's when you start living. Because everything else on the outside of this world, you really start to look at it with spiritual eyes and you're like, oh my gosh, don't think you're just put here to die, because you're not. Hi, Deanna, honey. You're not just put here to die. You have a purpose for your life and there is a plan. And no matter what you're doing, where you're at, whether you be a nurse, whether you be an officer of the law, whether you work at CVS, whether you work at Wawa, Heritage's, the mall, it doesn't matter. God can use you right where you are. And the only way that people come to know Christ is when you are that light and you're walking it. So when you have a bad circumstance and something bad happens in your life and anxiety comes over you, do you fall? Do you lose it? Or do you calmly just say, God's got this. God's got this. Tony Evans, I have a book. Every day there's a little thing that I read. Listen to this. God will meet you where you are in order to take you where he wants you to go. I'll say that again. God will meet you where you are in order to take you where he wants you to go. That's what he did with me. He met me right where I was, right in that cell, and then he showed me where he wanted me to go. And he brought me a 360 right back where I started from. And that's what I want for every one of you to understand. Clearly, God in circumstances. Paul, Romans 15:24 says, I shall come to you. And I'm going to talk to you about when we look at our circumstances in the right way, we can clearly see the hand of God as he guides his children. All you have to do is look at my situation. Excuse me, I want to take a sip of my coffee. All you have to do is look at my situation, know me and how I lived my life and where I was and where I slipped off the bandwagon. Are you kidding me? Clearly, God could have only have orchestrated everything that has happened in my life up till now. But I've also been obedient. I think of the Lord every day. He's my life. He comes before anything in my life. And that's the way it should be in everybody's life. When we were at the baptism yesterday, my Cindy, Red Row Elias, and Billy, there was a lot of people there. And this is like my second family. I grew up with all of these people. And they were, they were talking about in Luke where, Jesus says, you have to hate everybody and take up your cross and follow me, or you can't be my disciple. And, what that means is we are never going to be perfect. Not many of us will just forsake all of our possessions, take up a cross, and forsake everything in this world. I don't know of anybody who has done it except Jesus Christ. And when I was incarcerated, everything was ripped from me. But I learned through that contentment. So what it's saying is we're not to deny Christ. Do we take a stand for Christ? And where we're at in life, don't let your circumstances of what's happening to you define who you are in God. He will meet you right there and he will carry you through it. And so what I'm saying is, even in my circumstances, when you learn to be content, I told you before, you don't have to find joy in bad news. For most, there isn't any joy in bad news. But you also have to know, if you understand that God is in control, if you truly believe that, then you know that there's a plan. We're all going to die. I know some people don't want to hear that, but not many people talk about it. And what I've realized is this. I'm 53. I'm closer to death than I was 20 years ago. But then there's people that will say, you could be taken tomorrow. And it's the truth. You can be taken tomorrow. So we all have a time. Do you want to leave a will or a legacy? I want to leave a legacy. And the legacy I want to leave is the word of God with everybody. And what I'm trying to talk about today is, when it comes to your circumstances, is I have such compassion for people, especially when, they're crying, they're upset about a situation that I know is going to be all okay. It's like, I just want to say, listen to me, you'll be okay. You will. So I want to read this to you. This is really good. Romans, when you read Romans, thank you for all the hearts. Hi, Lou. How you doing, buddy? When you read in Romans, Paul, and you have to remember, Paul crucified Christians. He killed them. So when people want to put other people down, and I've read that statement, oh, I hope they burn in hell for something they've done wrong. That is so wrong. Because if Jesus Christ can use someone like Paul, who killed Christians, Paul went on to build over 3,000 churches. Paul It was just unbelievable. Well, if God can use someone like him, he can use someone like me or anybody, and he will. So I want to read this. At the end of his letter to the Romans, this is speaking about Paul now, Paul laid out his plans. He intended to launch a fourth ministry journey and press further than ever all the way to Spain. Now remember, they didn't have any transportation, really big transportation back then. He told the Romans he would visit them on the way, but things didn't work out as Paul planned. Hi, Alyssa, honey. Arriving in Jerusalem, Paul was arrested. Now here's a man who had these plans for the Lord, and now he's arrested. And he occupied a cell in Caesarea for 2 years. Boy, wasn't that a whatever you want to call it in his plans. Hi, Margie, how you doing? So sometimes we plan. Proverbs 16:9 says, the heart of man will plan his way, but the Lord will establish his steps. That's why I always say, Lord willing, because I don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow. So anyway, Paul was in a cell in Caesarea for 2 years. When he finally arrived in Rome, it wasn't as a missionary headed to Spain, listen to this, but as a prisoner headed to trial. That's why there's so many things in the Bible about history that remind me of my situation. Joseph, in the Bible, Paul. It's just amazing what God can do for, in, and through a life when you allow him to. So anyway, as he was a prisoner headed to trial, you can see that in Acts 28, yet the Lord was in it all. God was there the whole time. Just like Paul, we should be planning for the future and doing the best we can to wisely manage the days to come. Yes, we should do that. But God is still the Lord of the circumstances that you're going through. And when things don't go as we hoped or planned, it's our responsibility to say, hi, Dawn, get this. It's our responsibility to say, well, dear Lord, do as you will. That is clearly the best attitude to take in any situation. And it is the truth, and I am telling you the truth because that's what happened to me. After a while, I just said to myself, you know what? I don't know what my future holds, but I know who holds my future. And I truly believe that sitting there in that cell, God. So if God is real, and this is what I said, you know what, God, if you're real, you're going to take me home in your time. If you're real, like my grandmother told me you were, I am going to let go and let you. I'm not going to sit here and cry every single night myself to sleep. And this is truth. I did that every night. I looked at that brick wall and I was like, God, why? Instead of asking why, just say, okay, Lord, here I am. Do with me what you're going to do. And it was at that time when I did that, God just started using me to share the love of God, the gospel of Jesus Christ, with all those girls in there who desperately needed. And there was some that desperately needed God. They didn't know a darn thing about him, and some did. And for the ones that really did, God used them. And today they're excelling and they're doing wonderfully. So by being obedient and just letting go and knowing God was clearly in my circumstances, I always say, he's clearly there in your circumstances too. Don't get all upset and be who the enemy wants you to be. Lose it and say, I'm not going to make it. I can't do this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. God will give you the strength and the grace to get through whatever it is you're going through. Hi, T, honey. I love you. Anything that you're going through, God is right there. He sees your pain. He sees your tears, but he knows the beginning and he knows the end. And it's at that time when you fall to your knees and you surrender your life and you let God show you what he wants to show you to do in your life and not how you want to live your life. It'll be at that time that you'll be amazed if you keep taking that attitude with you every day, how God will give you the grace and the strength to realize, wow, I got through it and it's been a week. I realized after 2 years sitting in the cell, wow, it's been 2 years, but I did it not on my own. It was clearly the strength and the grace of God. Because I will tell you that many girls that sat with me, anything that any of you go through, if someone says to you, well, how did you do that? How did you get through all that? The strength and the grace of God. And every time someone would sit down with me, oh my gosh, you've been here how long? I stopped counting the days after a while. I actually started only putting the days in my book after I got to Clinton and I got the exact number, because after a while you just start counting. And it was always, I said the same thing, the strength and the grace of God. And the girls that have been there and have gone through jail or prison, or anybody, even guys out there, they know that once you've sat for so long in a county jail, after a while, especially the time that I was there, it had to have been something other than myself that got me through all that. God. Jill Gaspari, how the heck are you? I love you. I want to come over and see you. And can you give me a donut? But I'm going to eat the whole donut, not half the donut. That's just a little joke. So again, God is right there. He's clearly in all our circumstances when you allow him to. When you allow him in, the changes that come to each one of our lives is amazing. I can't specify it any more than that. You know, when you have trials and you have things that are happening, you know, don't flee from them in panic. Just don't, because God is doing something profound in them when he's involved. If everything's perfect in your life, where is God? Because most of the time when everything is going peachy keen, God is back here on the back burner. Well, why do you need to go to God? Why do you need to pray to God? Everything's perfect in your life. But it's at that time where you should be even more thankful and grateful and be clinging to God even more. But that's why when something bad happens in our lives or something devastating, the first thing we do is we run to God. For the most people that I know, we run right to God. You'll see Facebook posts everywhere. Please keep me in prayer. I you know, whatever it may be. But some of these people never have time for God at any other time, except when something devastating does happen. So it's at that point when God is trying to, you know, get your attention. Hello, I'm right here. Remember me, the one who gave you life, who gave you this world and the air to breathe. What are you doing for me today? Not that he needs us, and not that he needs us to do anything for him, because he doesn't. He gives us that choice and he wants us to. So when it comes to life, God is life. He gave us the book to live by. And it's at the time when things go wrong in our lives, because life is not going to be perfect until we stand before our Lord and we receive a body like him. That's when life will be perfect for us. But in the meantime, even as a Christian, no, life is not. Hi. I'll get to this later. Life is not a bowl of cherries. Life is a tossed salad. And when you have the Lord in your life and you know what his word says and you have that true peace of God in your heart, you handle everything differently. You handle everything differently. You don't falter. You run to other people that are, you know, there for you. It's called the fellowship of being with other Christians in church. I know some people say, oh, I don't have time to go to church. You know, there's nothing but hypocrites. Well, bring it on. I'm going to go there because I'm the biggest hypocrite of all. So remember, a church is for sinners. It's not for perfect people. And you should want that fellowship. There's nothing like a church unity, a church family in your life. Trust me when I tell you, because that was what happened to me when I was away. The unity of churches that came together and were praying for me, and the letters that I received from people were amazing. So God will work through others to help you with your situation too. So it is now. Wow, 10:20. Time flies when you're talking a lot, huh? So I also want to ask that, I don't know, there's some people that are texting my phone, and now I'm going to turn it off, because please, if you know that I'm on live, if you can wait until I'm off. But if not, that's okay. I just put my phone on silent. That's okay. But I will get to, there's people that are texting me on my phone because I'm on my my Chromebook at home. And do you guys like Chromebooks? Maybe some of you can tell me your opinion on that, a Chromebook. I don't know. I guess I'm a Windows baby, because when I got my Chromebook, I found out that, it didn't do a lot of things. Jill, now listen, if you get me a donut, she says if we get the donut, I can only have the one that's bitten into. It's a joke between Jill and I, and it's just funny to this day. Listen, make it glazed, Jill. Take a nice big bite out of it, and then I will eat the glazed donut, dear. I love you. I want to come over and say it, Jill. She's so funny. So please remember today and every day, the rest of the week, God will meet you where you are in order to take you where he wants to go. And no matter what you're going through, God is always there. He's clearly in our circumstances. And you might want to ask, what is he trying to show you? For anybody out there who is hurting through addiction or anything like that, God is right there. You have to want it, and you have to want him. And my prayer is that you do. Again, please keep me in prayer for doors to open up. My passion is to go back into the jails and speak to the girls that are there and share my message of hope and faith in Christ and what God did for me, in me, and through me during my circumstances, so that they can understand that God is right there. Don't ever think that he's not. Take it from me. Take it from me. I know all too well that God is right there. I heard that still small voice speak to me when I was in that cell all by myself. You have a lot of time to think when you're by yourself. And the other thing about that cell is this. You never know Jesus is all you need until Jesus is all you have. I don't know if you have, but in many of the churches I've heard, all you need is Jesus. All you need is Jesus Christ. That's true. But let me tell you something. You truly don't know that until everything is taken from you. Now, I don't want that to happen to other people. I would never want anybody out there to go through what I wouldn't want anybody out there to go through what the McConnell family went through, what I went through, what my family went through. Absolutely, all the family. I would never, to get to where I am today. So that's why when someone's giving you the wisdom that God has given to them along their journey, not my opinion, the wisdom, please take it. Take it. Enjoy today. You're not promised tomorrow. And don't let your circumstances steal your joy that God is giving you today. So, Jill, when you get home, I want to see you. She's still at the shore. I feel that way too. No one's moving out here either, honey. Let me tell you. So please, again, whatever it is you're going through, and you know that you can always, on my Facebook account, write anything that you would like, especially if you want to talk about anything, if you need prayer in reference to something. Sometimes you don't have to be specific. This is only coffee. Trust me. You don't have to be specific, because God knows your situation. But I do pray. But I was saying, when you're in that cell, it doesn't even have to be a cell. You could go into a room by yourself. It's amazing, the peace. I remember an officer said to me, Valerie Gale, there's going to be times you're going to wish you were in cell 23. And let me tell you, that's the truth. Because the peace that you know when it's just you and God, and you just close your eyes and you just talk to him and ask him to show you what he wants to show you for the day, no matter what you're going through. He's right there holding you. It's the best thing. And I do have my cell. I call it my war room now, which is downstairs, my sewing business, and the other room, I call it my war room because that's where I go when I am by myself. Hi, Donna, honey. I'm glad you joined us. We're talking about, clearly God is in our circumstances of anything that we're going through, and not to let the enemy steal your joy for the day, that God is always right there. God will meet you where you are in order to take you where he wants you to go. And you have to please remember that. So I want everybody to know that I hope this helps somebody, anybody, and that you have a wonderful week. Remember, don't let your circumstances define who you are in Jesus Christ, and that God is right there. He's clearly in your circumstances. And I will let you know what we'll be talking about again next Monday, because it's my passion. I like doing this. So I'm sure that we will be talking during the week on the Facebook and anything like that. If there's anything that you need me to know, you can always get me on the messenger. And I love when people write to me, and I, of course, do all that I can. So again, keep the Sussex family in prayer in reference to their sister. I haven't heard anything. I'm praying that she is healing every single day. With that, I'm going to close. Remember the Walk with God book that you can get at christianbooks.com. Yes, christianbooks.com. It totals about $23. It's a wonderful book. I hope everybody will consider getting it. It's great one-day devotional, and it takes literally like 2 minutes to read this. And I always say, give 1 minute to God, and the rest, the 1,139 minutes, will be amazing. With that said, God bless you all. Keep on keeping on, keep looking up, and make Jesus Christ Lord of your life. Bye-bye. Have a great week. Oops.